All right. So we're going to ask a few questions and answers, more like one of the other previous tracks we had. This time product related. And we're going to start with Eric, who is our product owner at ComAround. We have some questions loaded here that we know everybody's just dying to hear. So the first one, Eric, we all know from earlier that ComAround chose Microsoft technology to develop our product, ComAround Knowledge. Can you tell a little bit about the reason why we made that choice to the audience from your point of view?
Yes, absolutely. So we have chosen to host our solution all the way in Microsoft Azure as part of our development strategy. This allows us to quickly handle growth and gain the increased reliability. We also have the opportunity to focus more on our core business since the Azure platform manages a lot of maintenance and operations for us. Another advantage is that we can develop all these amazing features by integrating advanced components like Azure Search or cognitive services into our software. And hey, where's the slides?
Coming.
Yeah. Oh,
ta-da!
Nice. So I think someone said it earlier today that we are piggybacking on Microsoft techniques, and that's exactly what we're doing. I mean, this is the infrastructure for ComAround Knowledge, and I mean, this consists of about 150 different components that you have to put together, and then you have to maintain it and host it and everything, and that's nearly impossible to do if you're not a super huge company. So using Microsoft technique, it's really a success factor for us and for ComAround Knowledge.
Great. I think that's really an impressive picture and really.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of self-explaining, isn't it?
Crystal clear.
You don't need to add much.
It just works.
Yeah, it works like a clock.
Great. So another question we're going to ask you is, so can you tell the audience a little bit about how ComAround Knowledge has evolved during the past year since we last sat here?
Yeah, sure. ComAround Knowledge grows and evolves for every year, and this last year the focus has been all about Microsoft Azure and cognitive services. Our partnership with Microsoft has really helped us to focus on our delivery via Azure, and it has transformed ComAround Knowledge into a more reliable and a more flexible service. ComAround Knowledge is also transforming into to be more of a cognitive knowledge software, where we use our own data to build a much more intelligent service.
Great. So can you provide us a little bit more, let's call it specifics, touch on some of the features which we have introduced and inform the audience of a couple of those?
Yes, absolutely. Just figure this out. So ComAround Knowledge had a really good year this last year, and I don't know how many of you who attended our previous Inspiration Day last year, but I was on stage and talking a lot about stuff that we were gonna do, and the day after I thought to myself that maybe I said a bit too much, but today we have done them all. Everything is implemented in ComAround Knowledge. And take search, for example. We have improved the search experience by introducing search suggestions. And it's search phrase suggestion based on what other has been searching for. And it may not seem much, but what it actually is it's intelligence behind it who tell you if your search phrase has already been used, or like you write a couple of letters and it starts to ask you, is it this you're looking for, or kind of sweet. And we also implemented a spell check function using Microsoft Cognitive Services to tell you if your search phrase might be presented in another way. So these are two examples on how we have improved the search experience in ComAround Knowledge to give you the same kind of feeling as when using other popular search engines online.
Successful year.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Well done. So another question, I think, which we've touched upon a little bit in sort of the user experience factor. So it's clear that the users are really asking for something that's intuitive and easy to use. So from the ComAround perspective, what have we done there in that space? I know a couple people have gotten a little preview earlier, but can you tell them a little something
Yeah, I
for
mean,
those who missed that?
I would say that our new end user interface, ComAround Self-Service, sort of speaks for itself. I think it shows that we are taking this question very seriously. And there we go. The first release came out about a year ago, and today we have uncovered the latest release of ComAround Self-Service.
Nice.
Yeah, it looks
Some
great.
applause.
Thank you, thank you. You're most kind. So this interface is the result of an intuitive design that is easy to understand and easy to use, combined with technology to give you that fast and slick experience that's so important when using a web application. Mm-hmm.
Good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so quickly tying into that, we also know that mobile usage is something which is peaking year on year.
Yeah.
I think it's somewhere around 65%
Yeah,
of users today.
something like that.
Do you have anything in store for us there?
Yeah, well, about a year ago, we released the first version of our native apps for iOS, Android, and Windows 10. And they just got their third release this summer. And with that release came features like custom branding and quick connect to service desk. So these apps, basically, they give you access to your company's knowledge base on your device of choice, wherever you are. And this is something that makes ComAround Knowledge into a very unique knowledge solution. No one else within the knowledge business have the same offer as we do when it comes to consuming knowledge on mobile devices. And if
Go
you
get
haven't,
those apps.
exactly, if you haven't already downloaded them, I encourage you to do so. Use them.
I agree.
Angry?
I
No, they
agree.
don't need to be angry to use them. They can use them anyway.
It's going to make them happy.
Sure.
I think that Marshall McLennan case showed the importance of the apps and mobile.
Yeah,
I think that was in focus for them.
absolutely. All right, enough of questions and bugging you, Eric. I'm
Thank
going to
you.
ask Helen a question instead. So I think for you, Helen, important topic in knowledge management is reporting and measurement. With your role as a KCS trainer, you meet customers daily who face challenges on what and how to measure, because it's such a massive part in the knowledge management initiatives. So can you share some of the benefits of measuring and analyzing self-service data with the audience today?
Yeah, sure. Well, I think measuring and setting goals for self-service is super important. I don't know if many people know that normally as on a baseline measure is that you catch 10 times as many questions through self-service as you do through assisted support, which means that these are questions that people would normally Google or ask colleagues or find workarounds for themselves. But you can actually catch them through self-service. And which is a huge data source for the companies to analyze that and to use the knowledge that you can get from the knowledge base. There's also, for example, let me think. I don't remember what I was going to say. Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah,
That's
well,
okay.
having measures, and I think a lot of customers forget to have measures and goals for self-service. I know that we heard when Kelly and I spoke earlier, she mentioned as well that analyzing what are people are looking for in self-service and what can you see in the knowledge base to actually use that data and see what can you provide back to your product owners and your develop teams and so on to see how can you remove the problems from the environment, which I think a lot of companies do with incidents, for example. You analyze them and say, okay, so how can we find the root cause to the problems, which you can do the same with self-service.
Yeah. Great. Yeah, I think that's also, it's very important and combining them too.
Yeah.
Incidents and requests and self-service, all of those things really play a major part.
Yeah.
Thank you, Helen. And Per, we got one question for you as well. So the question I want to ask you is a little bit more going forward. What's the future like? So what do you see that ComAround will focus on in the coming years or the coming year even when it comes to the product?
Yeah, that's a good question. Thank you. I think going back to Marcus Gullberg's presentation from Microsoft earlier today, we have to understand that we are really, in comparison with Microsoft, a really small company. So I think to be able to continue to be a leader in knowledge management, we need to really understand how we can connect all that powerful technology that Microsoft is developing with AI, cognitive services, and really add that to our service and really make that edge that you as a customer see difference from. So, I'm not sure if I had that number right, but I think it's like 75,000 developers in the Microsoft organization worldwide, and they're hiring the best AI professionals out there. So that's great for us. So with the previous picture and architecture, we are all in Azure or all in Microsoft. So really understand how we can adopt all those new cognitive services to Azure Search, to statistics, Power BI. I think that's the way forward. And I think that's the example with Uber, that even small companies can grow really fast, understanding how they can take that powerful technology and adopt it to our experience in knowledge management. So that's what me and Eric is discussing during the days. And that's not easy, but I think we are on the right way here.
Looking forward to see more about it. There was an image here.
Yeah, so I think
which we didn't get to see yet, but I figured maybe you could speak a little
absolutely.
bit to it.
I'd be happy to. So I think that if we go back a couple of years, I think we started really focusing on the self-service interface and the user interface. And that's very important, it's crucial, but I also think that's something that everybody has. So that's not like a competitive advantage for ComAround. What we really try to focus on right now is to be best in the game in those three parts, that is knowledge, community, and data. If we can combine those three parts, if we can make the best knowledge tool, the best knowledge base with pre-packed knowledge, help you to get the process with Helen and understand how you can keep a healthy knowledge base, combine that with the community, and that is the shared experience of all the 250 international clients that ComAround has, and learn from each other with the help of ComAround, and then put data on that to understand really the context of the user, where they are right now, and add historical data to that. That must be a winner. So this is really where we are betting right now. And of course, understanding that technology is just an enabler, not a goal. So we have all this powerful technology around that core concept. And that's very exciting. So I think we are really seeing some really exciting things happening right now with AI, machine learning. We are discussing new features at ComAround that comes from you, the clients. And then the week after, Marcus and the Microsoft team said, but we have a new service, new cognitive service for that, auto tagging, connected to Azure Search. Thank you very much. We add that to the service and you can get it. So we can do that over and over again. So I think that's where we are right now. We're just on the tipping point to have all those amazing services just going out there. No pressure, Eric.
That's powerful stuff. So I did know that we have a little bit of time, and we had a question that came up earlier during the day, and that was really relating back to reporting and measurements. So there was a question to really understand a little bit more. What are we doing there when it comes to as we can see, Power BI is the metrics tool that we're using in the system today, or our business intelligence. What are we seeing there? Is there something maybe you and Eric can comment on?
Sure. So for future development, for starters, all current reports will be getting an update. We will add settings like goals for you to be able to set your own goals for reports like views. We will implement forecasts to help you to predict the future outcome. We will go a bit more personal and add reports that will show your personal progress and on the knowledge that you have created. But the biggest update, maybe the most important one, is that we will let you extract your own data from ComAround knowledge and use that to create your own reports. Or maybe even more important, use the data you have in ComAround together with your data that you have from your own organization and create reports on top of that. So a lot of our future development will be around data. I was saying earlier that we use data to make our service a better service, a more intelligent service, and produce more value for you guys. So that's another way how we use our data. Yeah.
Cool. So some pretty interesting stuff then for future development. All right, guys. We're going to move on to the next track. So thank you so much for participating and for your insights.